The Curse of the Elmo Doll. In a quaint little shop on the outskirts of Caracas, Venezuela, a peculiar Elmo doll sat on a dusty shelf, its bright red fur faded and its large, innocent eyes staring blankly into space. Unlike the cheerful, playful dolls sold in modern stores, this one seemed ancient, its plastic casing cracked and worn. No one knew how it had ended up there, and the shopkeeper didn't remember ever stocking it. It was late November when Sophia, a single mother of two, stumbled upon the shop. She had been searching for a gift for her youngest son, Mateo, who adored Sesame Street. The moment she saw the Elmo doll, her heart warmed. Though it looked a bit old, it was affordable, and she imagined how happy Mateo would be to own a toy of his favorite character. The shopkeeper seemed eager to rid himself of the doll, selling it at a price so low that Sophia found it almost suspicious. On Mateo's birthday, his face lit up when he unwrapped the gift. "Elmo!" he squealed with delight, hugging the doll tightly. The joy in his eyes melted Sophia's doubts, and for a while, everything seemed fine. The doll had a button on its chest that made it laugh and say phrases like, "Elmo loves you!" Mateo carried it everywhere, even to bed. That night, Sophia awoke to a strange sound. It was faint at first, a soft giggle coming from Mateo's room. Assuming he had accidentally pressed the doll's button, she dismissed it and went back to sleep. But the next morning, Mateo seemed unusually quiet. When Sophia asked if he was okay, he simply shrugged, clutching the doll tighter. The giggles became a nightly occurrence. Each time, Sophia would check on Mateo, only to find him fast asleep with the doll beside him. She began to notice other oddities too. Objects in the house moved on their own. Cups that had been left on the kitchen counter were now on the floor, and picture frames tilted at strange angles. Once she found Mateo's crayons arranged in a perfect circle on the living room floor, though he insisted he hadn't touched them. Sophia's older daughter, Anna, started complaining about nightmares. She described a red figure with glowing eyes standing at the foot of her bed, whispering things she couldn't understand. Sophia dismissed it as a bad dream, but Anna refused to sleep in her room anymore. One evening, while tidying up, Sophia heard the doll speak without anyone touching it. "Let's play a game," it said in a voice that was slightly distorted, as if the speaker inside was broken. A chill ran down her spine. She grabbed the doll and inspected it, but nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Determined to get answers, Sophia returned to the shop where she had bought the doll. To her shock, the shop was gone, replaced by an empty lot overgrown with weeds. Confused and unnerved, she decided to search online for information about the doll. What she discovered made her blood run cold. The doll was part of a limited batch recalled years ago due to reports of malfunctions. Parents claimed the dolls would turn on by themselves, say inappropriate phrases, and even cause children to act strangely. But what unsettled Sophia the most was a forum post from someone who claimed their doll had been cursed by a witch in a small village outside Caracas. The curse supposedly allowed the doll to feed on the fear of its owner, growing stronger with each passing day. Sophia tried to take the doll away from Mateo, but he screamed and cried, refusing to let it go. "Elmo is my friend," he shouted, his voice filled with desperation. That night, the giggling turned into whispers. Sophia could hear them clearly now, words in a language she didn't understand, emanating from Mateo's room. When she entered, she found Mateo sitting upright in bed, his eyes wide and unblinking. The doll sat on his lap, its plastic eyes glowing faintly in the dark. "Mateo?" Sophia called out, but he didn't respond. Instead, the doll turned its head toward her, something it wasn't designed to do. "Elmo doesn't like you," it said, its voice low and menacing. Terrified, Sophia grabbed the doll and ran outside. She threw it into a garbage bin and locked all the doors and windows. But the next morning, the doll was back in Mateo's room, sitting on his bed as if nothing had happened. Desperate, Sophia sought help from a local priest. He listened to her story and agreed to bless the house. When he arrived, the atmosphere felt heavy, oppressive. As he sprinkled holy water around the home, the doll let out a blood-curdling laugh. "You can't get rid of me," it said, its voice echoing through the house. The priest performed an exorcism, chanting prayers as the doll thrashed on the floor. The lights flickered and a deafening roar filled the room. Finally, with one last prayer, the doll fell silent. Its eyes dimmed and it lay lifeless. Sophia didn't take any chances. She burned the doll in her backyard, watching as the flames consumed it. For the first time in weeks, the house felt calm. Mateo cried for a few days, mourning the loss of his friend, but eventually he returned to his cheerful self. Months passed and life returned to normal. But every now and then, Sophia would hear faint giggles in the dead of night, reminding her that some things are never truly gone.